Hey guys, Gage here with 12 Gauge Tactical, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about basic preparedness and just kind of what it means to be prepared and why you should be prepared. And I'm using this video to set up a little bit for future videos. I'd like to get some gear reviews, some EDC bags, some bug out bags, stuff like that. But for today, I just want to talk about basic preparedness. And now there's a lot of people that are going to go out there and tell you that preparedness is, 12 guns, 1,500 rounds of ammo for each gun, a year's worth supply of food, and all that's good, but that's really not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to kind of get away from that and talk about basic preparedness as kind of a mindset and on an everyday level. This is something that anybody can do and that everybody should do, and will hopefully make your life a good bit easier. So, basic preparedness, and kind of my definition of preparedness, is to think about potential situations and make sure you have the gear and the skill set and mindset to take care of that. Now, for the most part, that's something as simple as checking the weather one morning and seeing that it's going to rain and you need to grab your umbrella. That's preparedness, and that is going to make your day so much easier. It's middle of winter. Oh look, I've got a pair of gloves. That really is preparedness, and it's crucial to be prepared on those levels. There's a lot of people who don't do stuff like checking the weather, and they go to work and get soaking wet, or they go grocery shopping, which actually happened to me one time. I went grocery shopping with my mom. We walked in the grocery store. It looked like it was about to rain, but we thought we had a while, so we went, spent about 30 minutes buying groceries, whatever, and it was a torrential downpour before we could get out of the store. A car was parked at the very back of the parking lot. We had a bunch of groceries and some stuff that didn't really need to get wet, and it was pouring. We ended up having to go buy some extra umbrellas and stuff so we could walk to the car and keep ourselves and the groceries dry. Costed us another $20 in umbrellas that we shouldn't have had to do had we just brought them in to start with. So that's one situation where it helps to be prepared. And I think you'll find that all the time. There's a lot of situations where the basic stuff is helpful. As I set up for future videos, I'll kind of hit on why some of the things I'll talk about is helpful, and what you may use it for, like an EDC bag, why you should have one of those, kind of a bug out bag, why you should have one of those. Other important things to have are like toolkits in your car, for breaking down, and basic knowledge of how to fix a car if it broke down. I was helping some guys the other day walking out of an Army surplus store. Two guys came up to me and asked me if I could help them jump their car off. And so I went over there to help them. I had jumper cables and all that, and they didn't. So I put the jumper cables on, and they just didn't know anything about how to put the cables on, what to do with the cables and stuff like that. And I think that's something everybody should know. If you drive, you should know what order to put your cables on. You should know that kind of stuff. And the more you know, the more you do, the better off you're going to be. And it's just kind of crucial to keep stuff like that in mind. You don't have to have all the big fancy gear. You don't have to have 7,000 rounds of ammo. For 99% of what you're going to deal with, just to wake up in the morning and really think about what could happen today, and then grab the stuff to deal with that, is extremely helpful and will make your life so much easier, you know, basically every single day. You know, a lot of these other bags and other things we'll talk about in the future are for emergency situations only. But there's so much you can do on a daily basis to make your life easier. You know, just keeping some things like a pair of socks and tennis shoes in your trunk on days that you wear flip-flops. That's huge, you know. You could be out, grocery store, whatever, your flip-flop breaks, which happens to my sister all the time. You know, she had a pair of socks and tennis shoes and she's good to go. Doesn't have to worry about that sort of thing. So that's just kind of a basic introduction to what I think about when I think of preparedness. You know, just to wake up every morning and ask yourself a few questions of what's the weather like? You know, how much gas do I have in my car? You know, how far am I going today? Am I going to be 2 miles from the house, or am I going to be 50 miles from the house? Where's a safe place to go if I do break down somewhere? Do I have my cell phone on me? Is my cell phone charged? Just to ask yourself simple stuff like that in the mornings. And, you know, make sure you have a charged cell phone. Make sure you have gas in your car. You know, make sure somebody knows where you're going if you're doing something out of the ordinary, in case something does happen. All that stuff goes a long way. And so for those of you who maybe aren't preppers, you know, hadn't really thought about prepping very much, that's the stuff I'd like you to start with. You know, getting a bug out bag and stuff is great, but don't just go straight for the bug out bag and skip the simple stuff, because it's the simple stuff that 99 times out of 100 is gonna be the most crucial. It's keeping the charged cell phone. It's keeping the tank full of gas. It's bringing a hat with you on a sunny day. It's bringing an umbrella with you on a rainy day. It's wearing your warm jacket. That's the stuff that's going to make your life so much easier. And that's actually how I got into prepping. And, you know, I just kind of got into this a little while ago. You know, a few months maybe. But that's kind of how I got into it. Is I, you know, bought a new car. Or I say new, it's 2005. So it definitely has some room for issues. So with the car I bought just a basic toolkit. You know, I bought a better jack, which came in handy because the jack that came with the car broke one day while I was jacking the car up. So it helped to have that backup jack. And so, you know, got a new jack, you know, the tire iron, some wrenches, some screwdrivers, some fuses, simple stuff like that. And that kind of started me on the whole preparedness thing. That's what saved my butt quite a few times, honestly. But it's just thinking about stuff like that. I started building the toolkit, and then started thinking about, well, what would happen if I broke down on the side of the road? You know, maybe I want a reflective triangle. Maybe I want a reflective vest so I don't get hit by other cars. Maybe I want a headlamp where I can see to change a tire at night. And then some other stuff, I started thinking about food. I'm one of those people, I get hangry. I really do. So I started keeping a little bit of extra food in my car, just so that when I did get hangry, I have food to eat. So that became a non-issue, especially somebody who's diabetic. That may be something you do already, or definitely is something you should do. Go ahead and keep you some food. Keep it nearby at all times. That way when your blood sugar drops, you've got something, and you don't have to worry about it because it's always there with you at all times. Keeping some water to stay hydrated. That's pretty crucial. That's something, if I do ever forget to grab a bottle of water before I walk out the house, I definitely regret it. And I keep some extra of that in my car too. Because of that, I've walked out without some water and then had cotton mouth a couple hours later, really wishing I had some water. So guys, that's just kind of my thoughts on prepping and practical prepping, and what it means to be prepared, and kind of why you should be prepared. And now in further videos, I'm going to talk about all your big bags. I might go over some gear reviews, some stuff like that, some self-defense stuff, and kind of dive into the more quote-unquote advanced stuff. But it's really the basics that help me out 9 times out of 10, or even 99 times out of 100. So, maybe I'll do a video on EDC, and that'll kind of coincide with the simple everyday stuff, before I break into the other stuff that's helpful but probably less often. So guys, I appreciate you watching this video. Appreciate you bearing with me while I kind of rambled on. If you like the video, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe, and I'll try to post some new videos for you guys. Y'all have a good one.